Yeah, time for a shave. Hey, these are my top 5 favorite Eddie Murphy movies. I'm not saying these are the best Eddie Murphy movies. I'm just saying these are my top 5 favorite. Yeah, that's right. I'm an Eddie Murphy fan. I bet you didn't know that. All right, here we go. That movie is a shit show. What you think you see, what you think you hear, that's what it's about. It's all theater of the mind. No, it's garbage. It's garbage. Mood and atmosphere. Now that I really like. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I want to see. Hey folks, how you doing? Dave McRae here. Okay, in this video, I don't want to take up too much time, so I'm not going to be like diving deep into each one of these movies. I'm just going to tell you which ones are my top 5 favorite Eddie Murphy movies. Now, again, like I said, these are not necessarily what the general consensus what the general consensus says are his best movies, although a couple of his best movies I think are in here. Maybe most of them. But these are my top 5 favorite for sure. So here we go. Okay. Number 5 is 48 Hours. Oh, I love this movie, starring him and Nick Nolte. Now, of course, the 80s was full of buddy cop movies, even though this isn't a buddy cop movie per se, because Eddie Murphy isn't playing a cop. He's a criminal that Nick Nolte's character has to get out of prison and, all that kind of jazz. But certainly, the chemistry and the camaraderie between these two, I think, is awesome because they're just two extremes, like two completely opposite sides of the coin. And then, of course, they kind of, you can tell by the end of the movie, they do have a genuine affection for each other. But it's just great. Like, I might, on some level, almost like watching them go at each other as opposed to, say, Danny Glover and Mel Gibson. Although it's tough to beat Lethal Weapon, I will say that. But I think you know what I'm talking about. So that's my number 5. My number 4 is, this is going to come out of nowhere. This is going to shock a lot of you people. Now remember, I'm not saying this is the best. I'm saying this is my favorite. Number 4 is The Golden Child. Yes, The Golden Child. That one where Eddie Murphy plays that, I think he's a private detective, and he's chosen to go find that really magical, powerful Tibetan kid that's been kidnapped or something like that. And he's got to save him from evil forces and all that kind of jazz. I believe that Tibetan boy, I think in real life it was played by a girl. I stand to be corrected, but I think it was a girl. Anyway, awesome movie. I love that movie. I mean, there's some stop motion animation in terms of the creatures in there and shit. And Eddie Murphy, it's a funny movie. And I kind of feel the same way about The Golden Child like I do The Burbs. The Burbs is a better movie, but there's some dark humor in there. It's a darker film, but it's still kind of funny. And there's a lot of nostalgia for me. So I really like that movie. I like The Golden Child. So if you haven't watched The Golden Child, check it out. You might like it. Okay, my number 3 is the classic Coming to America, starring Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall. For those of you that are old enough, you know exactly what I'm talking about there when I do that. And they're in the middle of, at least if they're not already shooting, they're about to start shooting the sequel to Coming to America. And everybody's back. Arsenio Hall is back. James Earl Jones is back. The guy that played the McDowell's owner is back. And then the girl that ended up with it, she's back. And the whole, that's like, oh God, amazing. Anyway, the original Coming to America, classic. Oh my God, I love that movie. Love that movie. It's just awesome. You guys know what it's about. I don't need to go diving deep into it. Now, whether the sequel is going to be good, I don't know. I mean, let's be honest, it's probably not. But I'm rooting for it because I love Eddie. Oh, come on, he needs a win. He needs a win. I don't know if that's going to be it, but there is a movie that he's just done. It's straight to Netflix, but it looks really funny, called Dolomite Is My Name. Is that what it is? The Dolomite Is My Name? I brought it up here. Dolomite Is My Name. If you guys haven't watched this trailer, YouTube Dolomite Is My Name, it looks pretty funny. Now, is it going to be a good movie? Is it going to be the beginning of his comeback? Who knows? But it looks like classic Eddie Murphy. a good watch anyway. Like, you'll have a fun time, you know? I don't know if it's actually going to be good, but I'm pulling for you, Eddie. I'm pulling for you, buddy. Come on. All right, so that was my number 3, Coming to America. My number 2 is Trading Places. Come on, Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy, Jamie Lee Curtis, fellas. Jamie Lee Curtis looks pretty good. That is definitely my number 2, is Trading Places. And of course, you guys know what that's about. It's the role reversal. Winthorpe, who's played by Dan Aykroyd, is this rich Wall Street banker guy, and Eddie Murphy's this bum, and there's these 2 old guys who make that $1 bet to do the switch, and Eddie Murphy becomes this banker, and Winthorpe becomes essentially destitute without it. You guys know the movie I'm talking about. Funny as all hell, and a classic of the genre, certainly from the early 80s, and Jamie Lee Curtis, like I said, she looks pretty good in that movie, fellas. Love Trading Places. And my number 1 Eddie Murphy movie of all time, my number 1 Eddie Murphy movie of all time is probably, arguably, you could argue it, but probably the best movie he's done, which is the original Beverly Hills Cop. I mean, Beverly Hills Cop it was one of the highest grossing movies of 1984. I think Ghostbusters was the highest, but or maybe Beverly Hills Cop. Anyways, it was just a box office smash. Eddie Murphy it's hard to believe that he's only 23 years old in that movie. Like, it feels like he should be older, but he's only 23 in that film. But you guys know the movie. Classic. That is the quintessential Eddie Murphy movie, a blend of action and comedy. It almost is the quintessential buddy cop film, even though there's a couple of buddies in there. It's not just 2 guys. It's so good. And the characters are so developed and so well distinguished, you know, and it's a little, like the gunplay and the gunfire is a little dated now, but every time I watch it, I have a great time, right? And who doesn't like the Pointer Sisters at the beginning of that movie? I don't want to take it anymore. Love that shit, man. Oh, you know what I'm talking about. Love that fucking shit. Love Beverly Hills Cop. So those are my top 5 favorite Eddie Murphy movies. Now, I'll throw a couple of honorable mentions in there. I gotta say, I kind of like Beverly Hills Cop 2. I do. Not nearly as good as Beverly Hills Cop 1, but I like Beverly Hills Cop 2. I think Beverly Hills Cop 2, I don't know if it's I think I like it better than I do Ghostbusters 2. I will say that. And I say that because Beverly Hills Cop and Ghostbusters were 2 gigantic action comedies, if you will, from 1984 that also had sequels a few years later. And I think the sequel to Beverly Hills Cop, I think, is better. At least I like it better. So I'll throw that in as an honorable mention. And I'll also throw another 48 Hours in there as well. Although I think the first 48 Hours is better. What the hell? The sequel's not bad. It's all right. It has some nice moments in it. So anyway, those are my top 5 with 2 honorable mentions, favorite Eddie Murphy movies. I want you guys to comment down below and tell me what your top 5 favorite Eddie Murphy movies are. Now remember, you can give me what you think his best are as well, but to make things a little easier for you, don't worry about that. Just tell me what your favorite Eddie Murphy movies are. I would love to know. My name's Dave McRae. If you want to follow me on Facebook, you can at facebook.com/manythingsdavemcrae. That's where I tend to post in the meantime and in between time. I'm not posting here. All the links are in the description, as well as links to my, they're all down there. Just check them out. So yeah, Eddie Murphy, man, I'm pulling for you, buddy. I'm pulling for you. I don't know if Dolomite is it. I don't know if Coming to America 2 is it. But I'm rooting for you, man. We need some more Eddie Murphy. We need some Eddie Murphy in this crazy world we live in now. Although, he might get himself into trouble. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers.